Did you know that Jeffrey Epstein had priors for prostituting underage girls, pedophilia, and trafficking that placed him in prison before? He didn't learn his lesson then. I'm sure he has now. Call it a conspiracy theory, guys. I don't care. The man is not dead. You cannot convince me that he is. Hello, guys. I'm Trixie Lane. I have a background in investigative work, mainly homicides and paralegal work. On my channel, you will see us covering true crime, previously covering the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, and now we have moved on to the Epstein files. I am anonymous. I don't show my face. So buckle up and get ready. So let's start with the CID Significant Investigation from July 25th, 2006. The case was for child prostitution, happening in Miami, Florida. From March 2005 to February 2006, the Palm Beach County Police Department conducted an investigation involving the subjects, Jeffrey Epstein, redacted, and redacted, involving multiple underage females who all attend or attended one local area high school, Royal Palm Beach High School. They were recruited by redacted for the purposes of engaging in sexual activity with Jeffrey Epstein. The summary: the subsequent investigation identified sexual activity between Epstein and the juveniles occurred at Epstein's residence in Palm Beach, Florida, received monetary compensation for her recruitment, and in some incidents, her delivery of underage females. Appointments were arranged for Epstein by his personal assistant, redacted. Investigation by the FBI has revealed approximately 30 juvenile victims. How disturbing. Once the underage females arrived at Epstein's residence, they were introduced to redacted, who in turn took their names and telephone numbers. The underage females were taken to Epstein's bedroom and instructed by Epstein to remove part or all of their clothing and provide Epstein a massage. Epstein engaged in sexual intercourse with several juveniles and sexually abused the others. At the conclusion of the sexual activity, the juveniles were paid sums of money ranging from $200 to $1,000. USAO allowed Epstein to plead guilty to one state charge of soliciting a minor for prostitution at the state level. USAO agreed not to prosecute Epstein for the sexual exploitation of the additional juveniles. Epstein was sentenced to an 18-month prison term, for which he served 13 months. How freaking sick. He should have been just shot in the head, honestly. But let's check out the many faces of Epstein since then. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? Was Jeffrey E. Epstein arrested? When was he arrested? Here's one of his mugshots. Down in Florida. This is for procuring person under 18 for prostitution. Age 62, height 6 foot. Weight 180, gray hair, and he registered his address from Little St. James Island. Aliases is Jeffrey Edward Epstein. No scars, marks, or tattoos listed. See that ugly little mugshot? Here's another one. This one's for New York for felony sex offense. I believe this is because he has to register. And he's got like 20 some odd vehicles listed. That's insane. And then another one, Florida, required to register. The crime is procuring a person under the age of 18 for a prostitution with a guilty verdict. So this is an editorial, but with the mugshot, or so they call it a mugshot. I don't believe it's a mugshot. Randy Prince Andrew has enjoyed a life of privilege unimaginable to most of us. Even the long arm of the law has mostly been hamstrung in its attempt to prosecute his partner in crime, Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Epstein has made it a privilege of a super rich to entice underage women into his various lairs. A mansion in Manhattan, his private island, his own jet, his estate in Palm Beach have all been scenic backdrop for him and his princely friend. Even the state attorney and staff in Palm Beach County was intimidated by Epstein's legion of high-powered, high-priced lawyers. A plea agreement without victim impact statements or testimony is a departure from most plea agreement scenarios. Mr. Epstein runs free while the underage victims are feeling a bit more emboldened to offer what crimes routinely occurred in Mr. Epstein's world of pedophilia. Prince Andrew will be answering to a higher authority. The Queen of England is waiting to hear all about his latest misdeeds. Is there a real Justice Scotland Yard will hopefully investigate and be more effective in meting out punishment than has been obtained to date. Mr. Epstein will no doubt spend a good amount of his considerable fortune on lawyers. Happy New Year, Jeff and Andrew. Truth will be told and lawsuits will fly. Just one thought for each of these narcissists. Why so young? And then another one. Jeffrey Epstein, the well-connected multimillionaire, who was sentenced to just more than a year in jail to resolve allegations that he molested dozens of young girls, had been taken into custody in New York on new charges having to do with sex crimes involving minors. Anyways, you guys can read this. It's all there. So where does it end? My question is, why hasn't anyone else been investigated yet and forced to take accountability or punished by law? Did you know that the DOJ has stated that this could crumble the government and mainstream media because they are all implicated? Wouldn't it just be better to get ahead of it now and admit what you did and clear the air? Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let's continue to support the victims and be their voice. See you guys at the next one.